If somebody has money to buy Mercedes Benz, he will know bike and tanker of an equal value. He will rather choose to buy Mercedes Benz. If we go back 10 years ago, we used to mock made in China. Like we used to laugh at made in China.
Yeah.
But they were still doing it. But today, I don't think there is any brand you take that doesn't have an element of China in it.
I think it's just people taking advantage of the unemployment rates very high in Ghana and are making themselves rich. That is all.
Wanted to come and invest into a business here, and then the update I was getting at that time was some of the people in the government are also asking for a share before they will come and invest.
Yeah. Charley GH, it's another episode on IBG Studios. It's your boy, Patinko, Starboy. Today, interestingly, I have with me in the studios some two powerful voices who are here to help me discuss trending issues in our country that has to do with entrepreneurship and then also employment scams. Let me introduce them so that, we start our discussion. Yes, lady, you're welcome to IBG Studios.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, you're also welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Can you tell my viewers about yourself a bit? Then we can take it from there.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Mavis Nomanyo. I am an HR practitioner and entrepreneur. I'm also into drinks production. Currently, I'm into travel and tour. We facilitate your travel documents, and then we also build tour packages for companies and individuals.
All right. Thank you very much. My brother, tell us a bit about yourself.
I am Awoshie Ishaq. I'm a founder and CEO of IBG Limited. I'm also a tech freelancer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you've heard from them. The first question I will ask is entrepreneurship in Ghana. We know that entrepreneurship is something that is worldwide known to drive development in all countries. And in Ghana specifically, it's something that the government is looking at and how it should be done. What are some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face in our country? Auntie Mavis, I start with you.
Okay, so I would say the ability to compete with existing businesses. There are so many already existing businesses before we have startups. The ability to convince consumers of your new business or your new product is very, very challenging. And that's one thing I think entrepreneurs find difficult, in terms of the entrepreneurship practicing. Also, access to funds, startup capitals, I should say. Banks and, let's say, money lenders, find it challenging to invest into startups. Talking about high interest rates in the bank, they see it as too risky for them to invest into because they don't know how your business is going to be. It's possible you will fail. It's possible you succeed. So it's kind of 50-50. Yeah, I think these are some of the challenges, just to mention a few.
No, okay. Brother Ishaq, that's what Mavis is saying. And do you think that is really what the case is when it comes to the risk that people feel like, investing into a new product?
Yeah, definitely that is it, and even a lot more. So, you see, just like she said, access to funding is one of the major issues for a lot of startups. And then that means if you don't have the money or the means to fund the business yourself, you have to go and seek for bank loan and so on, right? And the banks don't know how your business is going to perform. Probably it's even a new idea that hasn't been tried before.
Okay.
You see, so banks are there to do business, right? So they will never just invest in your idea just like that without maybe something tangible to hold on to. So if I use myself, for instance, some years back, I've once gone to a bank to ask for a business loan, to start a business. And they asked for a business presentation and everything. I did all of that, showed them the idea I was working on, the prospects in terms of how well the business could do if I get that funding and everything. And they said they were willing to give the funding, but I need to give them something to hold on to. Maybe they said, do I have a house or something I can use as a collateral? And I was like, oh, if I have the house, let me sell it and do my business, right? So what Madam Mary said is very true. Access to funding is one of the key issue or the major issue that we are facing. And another thing I want to add up to that is we all need to accept or agree with the fact that the banks are there to do business, right? But there is one entity that is supposed to be there for us regardless, and that is the government. The government needs to maybe set the industry or the platform available or free, let's say startup friendly or friendly for the startups.
Okay.
And there are a lot of ways we can do that. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just look at countries like Australia and China and how their government is helping. Look at this example, China and India. Almost every single month, you see new product, new businesses are emerging. It's not because those people have the money. It's because their government has made the platform startup friendly. And I think, so our government is the ones I think we should look up to more than the banks. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe do you think the government has a major role to play when it comes to, supporting startups?
Yeah, I believe it has. With the current government, I think they have in place some initiatives. Talking of national entrepreneur and innovation programs, under which we have the Kaya Empowerment Project, presidential pitch, and the rest. So I think it has interest in it. If not, they wouldn't have initiated all these programs. And I think it's an opportunity for the young entrepreneurs to also research. What I think we normally don't do is research, because there are so many opportunities out there for entrepreneurs. But the problem is they don't know where to go to. Yes. So I believe the government has a role to play. That is why these initiatives are put in place.
Okay. Governments come and governments go. Every government and their policies. Hope you understand. Some governments might come and, support, but other governments might not. So in that case, should it only be government that will support this sort of initiative, or individuals can also do that?
Individuals can do it.
Okay.
And I think the individuals doing it gives us a more wider leverage.
Okay.
Compared to relying on the government only. Like you said, government come and go, and every political party that comes in power, they have their own agenda.
Yes.
So you are right on that. And any developed country you look at today, let's say United States, their government has an amount of money in their capital that they national budget that they specifically allocate to startup businesses. But that is not even up to 10% of what the individuals are investing. We have platforms like Y Academy and all those platforms, and Y Incubator as well. They are kind of individually powered platforms that they are always looking for the new entrepreneurs, the new startups to invest into. And those people will not ask you for collateral like the banks will do. All they want is for you to come and pitch your idea and so on. And I actually have this grudge with our industry in Ghana, for instance, because if you look at countries like South Africa, Nigeria, and Africa, it's like almost every single day, there are this kind of startup incubator platforms, programs happening over there. And when you look at the organizers, they are not even Nigerians or South Africans. Some they are coming from Netherlands, from US, from the UK. It's like, I don't know if it is their government or the people who have made themselves attractive enough to let those investors come in and invest. I don't see those kind of programs happening in Ghana. Okay. What I see in Ghana is that, let me look at the camera and say this. What I see happening in Ghana is that we are good at talking. If you are looking for the country that has the biggest talk show in the whole Africa, I think after Kenya, we are second. Every day we are organizing talk shows. We sit and talk. I don't see the actions happening, right? Okay. And I think it is high time our event organizers need to shift their energy and their focus away from the talking. Let's see how can we also attract these investors, because we have the bright minds. We have a very good environment, very peaceful. We have the available energy. I'm not taking shot at my fellow Nigerians, sorry, but we have the energy, and that is peace. And this is some of the key factors investors look at before they come and invest into your country. right? So I feel like our organizers need to also kind of shift their focus and start bringing those foreign investors, because our local investors, they will not do it. You might ask, is it that we don't have the people who have the financial strength to do it? We do, but they don't do it.
Okay.
Why? Because our people mostly, they don't see the value, or why I should put my money into my friend or my brother's business when maybe I can do it myself.
Okay.
You see, but then these foreigners, they have the money. They can come and do that.
Okay.
But we have to attract them. We have to bring them in. So to go back to your question, individuals can do way better than the government can do. But the government needs to also do its own fair share of whatever we need to. And you know, sometimes our government are also one of the main reasons why these foreign investors don't come in. I have heard stories.
Okay.
There is a story I heard or I read somewhere, I can't really remember specifically, where some investors from Dubai wanted to come and invest into a business here. And then the update I was getting at that time was some of the people in the government are also asking for a share before they will come and invest.
Yes.
This is very discouraging for because see, those people, where they are coming from, this kind of corruption zone happen there. Yeah. So it is very odd for them to have to hear something like this. They will not do it. They will feel like it's too dangerous. You see, so our government need to restructure and make also the administration attractive enough for the foreigners to feel safe to walk in and invest into the Ghanaian mines and the Ghanaian business.
Okay.
Yes, so that's what I think. Yeah.
All right.
So sorry. To add to that, I think we as Ghanaians or as individuals, we don't believe in what we have.
Okay.
So let's take for instance this the bucket we used to when there was Corona. What's the name?
How do you call it? The Veronica bucket.
Veronica bucket. I understand it was brought up by a lady in Ghana.
Wow.
There are so many things that we do that the government or as individuals we need to promote what we do. We don't. We would rather prefer what is coming from outside than what we have. Okay. And that is what is also, pushing a lot of entrepreneurs back. Because if I come up with something and it's not welcomed, I wouldn't continue it.
That's true.
Yeah. So as individuals, we also play a vital role when it comes to that.
Oh, okay.
So to add up to what you just said, I think today China is a role model to a lot of countries around the world.
That's true.
Right.
That's very true.
And I don't think China will be China today if China hasn't patronized what they produce locally. And if you go back 10 years ago, we used to mock made in China. Like we used to laugh at made in China.
Yeah.
But they were still doing it. But today, I don't think there is any brand you take that doesn't have an element of China in it.
Yeah, that's true. Even
including the high-tier brands.
In the US, we hear that almost everything that they're using.
So I think if China is able to do it by patronizing their own, then we can also forget. Probably the quality is not there, right? Example, like let's say our automobile industry here in Ghana, we have Kantanka and so on. Hardly you see a Kantanka car on the road. I know there are many factors that are contributing to that, but I can bet you if somebody has money to buy Mercedes-Benz, he will know buy Kantanka of an equal value. He would rather choose to buy Mercedes-Benz.
That's true.
Because of the narrative we have built. Yeah. You see, so very true. Like we need to patronize the made in Ghana, and that is what will encourage entrepreneurs to also push the made in Ghana agenda forward. And that is what will push our government to invest in the made in Ghana, and that is what will attract the foreign investors to come and invest in made in Ghana. So everything rely on the consumer at the end of the day. We need to patronize.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's very true. So in this case, let me come to Mavis. What lessons and strategies should a new entrepreneur adopt so as to be able to, survive in this industry?
You should research.
Okay.
Research is very important because without that, it's like you being in the dark and winking at a lady. Yes, people will not know what you are doing because you have not researched to know what you are going into.
Okay.
You should know there are challenges ahead.
That's true.
But if you don't have that at the back of your mind or before you start, the moment you start and there are challenges, you just go back. Okay. So, as I said earlier on, we have government supporting system, for entrepreneurs, and we need to take advantage of that.
Okay.
I believe they are not making much education about that. So a lot of people don't know there are such opportunities.
No.
And I believe with research, you would be exposed to those opportunities.
Okay. Okay. Nice one day. Brother Ishaq, is there anything you want to add to this?
I think going, just like she said, going, knowing what you are going into before you go into it will save you a lot of trouble.
Okay.
We have all been there. We have all started businesses without researching about what the business was. And a few months down the line, we came holding our hands and biting our fingers and shouting that had I know. So it's very important to know what you are going into.
Okay.
Don't just maybe look at somebody is doing it already and is successful. No, that person knows what he's into, but you don't.
Okay.
You are watching from afar. So you need to do your own due diligence, do the researches, know what is required, amount of time that goes into it, how much of knowledge and skill do you need about that, how much money do you need about that business. Do you check all the 3 boxes? If you check all the 3 boxes, then that is fine. You can go into it. In one of my books that is coming out later this year, I spoke about SMART goals. Sorry to promote my book. I spoke about SMART goals, and the whole SMART goals is talking about how to start a business or how to start as an entrepreneur by executing some key points, or make sure that you check in some key boxes before you even start the business.
Okay.
And I believe any of these 3 points I mentioned, if you don't check in those boxes, there are alternative ways. Is it the skill? Maybe you don't have the skill. Is it a kind of business that you can acquire the skill from someone? Okay. If yes, then look for that.
Okay.
Is it the funding? You don't have it. So how can you get somebody to invest into the business? That's a solution.
Okay.
Is it time? If you don't have a time, is it a kind of business that you can buy other people's time to run it for you? It's not just any business that you can use other people's time. There are some kind of businesses where you have to be there. So if you know that the business you are going into, you have to be there, and you don't have that time, don't start.
Okay.
You come and cry later. Yeah. So this is one advice that I think we can all give. Make sure you know what you're going into before you go into it.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. I told you that I had 2 powerful voices behind this, and trust me, as you can see, there's a lot of insight into the discussion we are having. Don't take it for granted. These are people who have had the experience and are sharing their experience. Learn a lot from it, and then you'll be, successful. Now, back to this, my important question. Let me start with the lady. They say ladies first. Employment agency scams, that is actually becoming something else nowadays. What do you think is the cause for this in our country?
I think it's just people taking advantage of the unemployment rates very high in Ghana and are making themselves rich. That is all.
No.
That is the reason.
Okay.
Because if there are jobs and there are structures put in place for unemployed to be employed, I don't think anybody could sit at anywhere and just scam people for jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go to Brother Ishaq. So what are the red flags, or what are the signs that will show you that this agency is actually not a credible one that you can follow? Because there are names I don't want to mention, which is actually scamming people nowadays. They take people to Togo. Recently, I was watching somewhere that they took someone. They promised the person to be taken abroad. They took him to Togo. Then later on, all the money the person had on him, they took everything, left him in a hotel, and they just left. So how can you detect such, scams?
Okay, so like maybe said, these are people taking advantage of the unemployment frustration. I was there, right? And honestly speaking, when you are frustrated and searching for a job, it's hard for you to see. I can tell you the red flag is A, B, C, D. But you see, when you are frustrated, it's hard for you to see. But still, I can mention some that I think can help. So I'm a victim myself.
Wow.
I have been a victim. And if I say this, then unless people who know me for the, let's say, like past 15 years going, they can approve that, yes, I have been a victim. I was looking for a job after school, and I got a job, and they said the interview was at Malam. And after school, get money. They're not looking for the money.
That's
Sorry, not Malam, Madina.
Oh, okay.
Madina.
Okay.
I walked from Awoshie to Madina, and I say a lot of
Really?
people will not believe this.
From
I
Awoshie to
walked
Madina.
from Awoshie to Madina to attend a job interview, only for me to get to Madina, for them to tell me that I have to pay 200 cedis application fee before I would get the interview.
Wow.
I didn't have that kind of money. That's why I walked in the first place. So I had to walk back home. You see.
Wow. Walking from here to
trust
Madina.
me, a lot of people didn't believe me when I said that, but funny enough, like there are people around who have witnessed that. Sunny, our brother Sunny,
Yeah.
I was with him. He is a witness.
Wow.
When I came back, the shoe I was wearing, the under has already opened. You know, when I came out of that was a terrible experience.
Oh, sorry.
I was very thirsty, and I went to one shop and I begged him for water. He didn't give me. Luckily for me, somebody was coming to buy water, and he was like, "Oh, give him water," and I drank water and I slept. After sleeping, I woke up and I realized, Charlie, if I'm to walk back to Awoshie, I'm going to die. So I was like, okay, let me take a car. Whatever will happen should happen.
Wow. Wow.
I boarded the car, got back to La Paz, and the driver realized I wasn't having the money. And he was like, I should go. It's normal.
Oh.
He understands. So
Wow.
I came back home. So you see, somebody like that, if you are there putting people go through this kind of stress just because they're looking for a job, I don't think it's something excusable. It's too bad. It's so terrible.
But do you know that some of their adverts are very enticing?
That's why I say you cannot see the red flags.
Wow.
You can't.
Wow.
But I think for me, what I can say is any place you are looking for a job and they ask you for money, you should know it's a scam.
Okay.
But then it could also be too harsh to say it's a scam because somebody set up his own business to make profit as a job employment agency. Maybe they need to restructure.
Okay.
It would have been more fair to say, if you get the job, you pay me X amount.
Okay.
Not as in you are now going to fight for the job and you say you have to pay 100 cedis. Imagine applying for, let's say, 10 jobs and not getting all. That is 1,000 cedis spent, like wasted.
Yeah.
By somebody who is unemployed. I think that is not fair. So if I'm to say any job event agency that asks you to face a scam, I think it would be unfair to their business because there are legitimate ones out there. But probably what should be the case is restructuring. They should only charge if you get the job. Okay. Because what they do is, I'm an employer myself. Okay. What they do is they'll call you that, Mr. Ishaq, I see that you're looking for so and so position. Can we search for you? I would say yes. Okay, if we search anybody you employ at the end of the day, you have to let us know. If the person comes through us, we have a contract with the person. He has to pay so and so amount. Okay. And that would have been more lucrative because I can say your first 1 year, I'm taking 10% of your salary.
So that has to do with the genuine,
have the genuine. I don't know if that's how they do it now, but I'm just suggesting that. Okay. That is how I think they should do it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the red flags, trust me, just pray you don't fall. You don't fall into that trap.
All right. Auntie Mary's, we've heard it. And I think there should be a way that we can sail through. So what can governments, individuals, and businesses do to, limit this, if not eradicate it totally?
Before I come into that, just to add to the red flag,
okay,
some of the agencies, they don't have physical location.
Yeah.
They'll just call you on the phone. You received your letter and you have an offer, pay so of amount, and then that's it. And if you are frustrated, as he said, you just go straight and make payment. So it is not good to just go and make payments for an agency you've not seen. You don't know where they are.
Okay.
And then also, when even they have physical office and you go there, fine, as he said, we are in for business. And so if I have to take registration from you, that is how I want it, But maybe I'm a legitimate business person.
Okay.
Show a receipt that I've made a payment. At least there should be some paperwork that I have been here and I'm looking for a job. If I get a job, this is the amount that you take, or this is the percentage. All these things, if it is not done, it means red flag.
Okay.
Yes, red flag.
Right.
And coming back to your question, what we should do, or what the
government and individuals and businesses can do too.
For businesses, most businesses fall on agencies for recruitment.
Okay.
Services, and I think they should rather patronize recruitment agencies that are registered.
Okay.
And have physical office.
Okay.
not just any recruitment service online.
Okay.
Yeah, so for business, I think that is what they should do. But the government, they should put in place some policies guiding recruitment agencies.
Okay.
I don't know, most of them might not be registered. How does the government know this agency is not registered?
Okay.
You see, so they should put in place some policies, to guide all recruitment agencies, out there, so that this scam will reduce. And as an individual, as I said earlier on, you should be careful when you apply for jobs online. I'm also a victim. In fact, so many times.
Could you share some experience with us? Because my viewers will actually want to hear yours.
Okay, so the experience is just like as he said.
Okay.
I saw a job online. In fact, they were at La Paz, just here. So I went to the office, I paid, they gave me receipt and the paperwork and everything. And what they do that is so annoying is that when you go there with your qualification, let's say you're a degree holder, they will post you to a company that is looking for a lesser, qualification.
Wow.
I went to the company, they gave me a number to call. I went there and they told me, oh, we are looking for an SS, graduate, not a degree holder. And the salary is, I think, 500 or so.
Oh.
I just walked out.
Wow.
It's so frustrating.
Okay.
It's so frustrating.
Okay.
There are so many experiences out there.
Okay.
A lot of people are going through a lot of these things. And
Okay.
I think the government has to come in.
Okay.
It has to come in.
All right. My people, it is Charley GH on IBG Studios. Your usual host, Patinko Starboy. Before we go, I'll take the final word from my, guests. Trust me, this sort of, scam is real. It is very, very real. And as my guest said, you might not know the fake from the original. So it's up to you to know the one or where you are getting your information from, so as to not fall victim to this. Because it is very frustrating, as they say, that you apply genuinely for a job thinking that, oh, my problems are going to be solved, or that the problems of my family, is going to be solved. Then you go ending up, going to spend your time and money. So let's, shine our eyes so that we don't fall victims. So, Brother Ishaq,
Yes.
Before we leave, any final words to my viewers and everybody out there?
Okay, so I think as we have already discussed about entrepreneurship and the job agencies come, my final words is, if you're out there and you have a business idea you want to go into and you haven't started, don't be scared. Do the due diligence, do the searches you need to search about your business, and just take the risk. If you don't fail, you are not trying. And if you have failed, it doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you are learning and you are trying. So that's to my entrepreneurs there. And if you're out there searching for a job, honestly speaking, look, somebody might ask, do we even have jobs? Are the jobs there? Do we have enough job opportunities out there?
It's not.
You see, so that's why we need the entrepreneurs to come and create the job opportunities. When we have enough job opportunities, I believe the scam will reduce. Because sometimes they know there is no job, but then, man must balance his balance sheets.
Of course.
Yes. So they go there, they find their own ways and means and do it. So my fellow entrepreneurs, go into it, take the risk. If you fail, you learn. If I tell you how many times I have failed, you will not believe it. And I'm still going. And I'm willing and ready to fail again because I want to learn. If you're out there searching for a job, like Camille said, do your due diligence. Make sure you know who you are going into and who you are giving your money so that you can stay safe. At the end of the day, it's not only the government that can protect us, we also have to do our own fair share to protect ourselves. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Sister Mavis, any final words to our viewers?
Okay, my final words. As you said, we are still trying as entrepreneurs, and I believe there are more failures for us to, be successful. And one thing I've realized is fear. Fear causes us not to move forward. And so if you are one person who is kind of afraid to venture into entrepreneurship, I will encourage you to, just try. If you don't try it, you wouldn't know you are you have that capability to, you know, come up with such a thing. So just put in your best in all that you are doing. And then I believe it is better for you to venture into entrepreneurship than to, you know, go for these employment scams. At least you can start small with a little amount from your family and friends. You know, social media, a lot of things are happening there. You can also start rather than giving your money to these scam agencies.
All right. Thank you very much. My viewers, don't forget that this is IBG Studios and it's Charley GH, your usual host, Martinko Starboy. Let us take the advice seriously, because all what we're talking of are real issues happening. And I don't wish for anybody to fall victim to this. I'll be expecting your comments in the comment section. Until we meet again, it is bye-bye for now.